Well, oh dear. Uh, I've made a big mistake I'm going to have to fix, or I'm not going to be able to carry on with this. I'll need to start putting these videos up so Martin and the likes can have a look, just to maybe stop me from moving on. I had started to move on, but just got a reply from this morning. He's pointed out the big error I've made. Sure, some of the rest of you seen it as well, and I just can't believe I've done it so many times. I don't think it's regarding the boundaries, the German boundaries. Unfortunately, we're now going on to the 20th, and we don't need to care about them anymore. But it's caught me out again the 19th, and this time it's caught me out big style. I think if I was trying to move the unit outside the boundary, I would probably spot it. And then I'm not saying definitely for sure. But all my incidents where I've been caught out with are I'm tracing German proximity to a hex that's it's outside the boundary. And I'll just pan the camera down to the area we're talking about, which, like I say, I'm sure some of you, maybe all of you seen in the light shouting at the video saying, "Grant, you can't put them there, you can't put them there." I'll not move the guy yet, but I deployed, I'll show you where it was. I'll just put it back so I can try and fix things here. I deployed these two units here. There's the boundary. These are the units that are proximate to these hexes, and they are proximate to the hexes, but this is the boundary. They can't go down there. They're not proximate to that hex because they can't go there yet. If it was tomorrow, as I'm starting off today, this is going to be the 20th. Unless I add this on at the end. I've uploaded the video though, so it's probably better just starting off on the beginning of the 20th, just showing you the errors. There's not much I can do about that now. I'd like to have added it on, but I never caught it in time. One of the worst things about it is I'm pretty sure when I place these, of course, one of the conditions for placing an allied unit, deploying an allied unit, is you don't want to put it in dangerous surround. And I actually looked at the possibility of surrounding them and then said, "Oh, I can't surround them because I can't go down here." So I even, when I looked at possibly surrounding, thinking maybe get a unit in there, and you wouldn't be able to get a unit in there, but just just to say, and then I clicked and I said, "Oh no, wait, I can't go down here because it's past the boundary." Well, if you can't go down here, Grant, how can you get down here? So that's what's catching me. I think if I was moving the unit, I would see it and say, right, I can't do it. It's just when you're looking at proximate and then it's allied units that I'm placing in. Anyway, I'm going off on one. I'm really annoyed about it, and I need to fix it because it's not going to sit right with me if I leave these guys doing. I'll put that guy back just now, just so I can try and get a fix for this. So I'm just going to look back on where things all went, and I don't think it's going to be unrepairable because I'm pretty sure this was the last thing that we done on the 19th. It was deploy them, and then I done something else. I think it was with the second SS, and then I drew the card to actually activate them. So there'll be a couple of things that change, but I think I'll be able to, as long as I catch it now before I then record any of the 20th. Like I say, I went in to start on the 20th and looked at things, and then it's just found out now that I need to stop and fix this, or like I say, it's not going to sit well with me. So I'll go and have a look and show you how I'm going to fix it. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to rewind the movement that was made. So this 10th Armour unit moved into here, and this unit moved from here to here. Also, this guy built an IP, which he might still do, but I'm just going to try and rewind it step by step so I can put it back right, I hope. And yeah, this guy wouldn't have an IP either, but he's not going to be there anyway, so we'll take it back to that anyway. Okay, just wanted to add that I got all my decisions right regarding the gap thing, which is obviously one thing that's a big thing that's catching me up. That and German boundaries, of course. Anyway, Martin makes some great comments, and his explanations are really good. So if you struggle with this situation like I do as well, then have a look at the comments he's made on the YouTube video. But I was right. The only thing I left was, pan the camera, was it moving this guy to strengthen I was talking about, and then we found out he could be surrounded anyway. And then I was talking about this being the gap distance, and that would extend it. And I wasn't sure, but it is as well. If you think about it, there's a gap that Germans can come and trace communication. I'm making it bigger if I move that unit. So it's and why I ever thought that this wasn't creating a gap here, I'll never know. But I woke up the next day in the morning, I looked at it and came to my senses, and got most of that right. So he gives a good couple answers, and describing where the gaps are at the moment, like here, and then here. So it's worth a look. The other thing he mentions my description of the strengthen card, and there was one part of it that I'll not go into it until it comes up again. It's a difficult card to read, like I say. I'll maybe keep going on about that, but I'll leave it until it comes up again, and I can go through it myself carefully. It does make sense. Basically, it'll strengthen a weaker position. That's the whole thing. A weaker position that's under threat. It'll try and strengthen it. But we can look at that when. But he's made a comment on that as well. If you just want to look at that and get a better understanding of how I explained it. That was the bit I kind of missed out. But to be honest, I didn't quite read the card like that as well. It's just poorly written in my opinion. Okay, we'll go on about that. So these guys aren't getting deployed here. That's what it comes down to now. So I'm going to go back. We are deploying them. I'll not go hunting for the card. That's the situation on the board at the moment. So we've got to try and deploy them. And I don't think it's actually possible to deploy them via method A, because none of these guys can come down here. There's nothing proximate in this area. So pretty sure it's not. Just have another glance, and we'll probably be deploying them via method B, I think. Okay, so where do we put these units? Martin comments. He reckons there's nothing on method A, and they should go into Neuf Chateau, the town here, if that's how you pronounce it, with method B, being as it's within 3 of one of its core. I'm hoping he's just missed this one along here though. Haven't had confirmation back from him yet. But I think with method A, that one, and I've been looking at it carefully, trying to make sure that I'm not, because I'm reluctant to move on and find out I've blundered again. But method A, okay, it's in the core area, it's a position hex, it's just in the core area. It's able to trace supply, one into there and then out. A German unit's proximate. This guy can go over the river into there. Yeah, I mean he's breaking away from his own control, but he can cross into that hex, as far as I'm aware. And then what we're looking for after that? Not in danger of surround. Well, nothing can get along to here. 1, 2, 3. This infantry can get to here, but he's still got he's not surrounded. There's nothing, I don't think, that can get into this hex. I can see they're all just too far away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can't see nothing that's getting into that hex. It's not in a German held town or city, and it's not adjacent to an allied unit. So I'm hoping that he's just missed that one. It's maybe tricky to have seen it as well, but of course he's just glancing at stuff that I've done wrong. So, but I'm scared to go and just pick it in case I'm missing something. But I'd like to move on with things. So I'm going to have a bash at that at the moment. If I get any word saying that that's wrong also, and for whatever reason, I'll try and alter it again. But so my thinking is this guy, the lower selector number, he goes in here, number 5. So we're still trying to deploy number 7. Now there's definitely not another option now. I can see with method A. There's no German units proximate to any hexes within their core area. That's not. I mean, you've got. Move the map, move the camera along, just to check that area out. We have this one again. Yeah, I had to stop and think about this hex again. This is surroundable though. This unit can move into here. And would zone of control this hex, obviously it's in it, and this hex. And well, I posted a question a while back, I think I mentioned this already to you guys, that can a unit on the edge of the hex be surrounded, and it was pretty sure it was John came back to me himself and said yes, because you're not sure what's down here, but it is surroundable. So putting a unit here that exerts zone of control basically locks that, surrounds a unit in there. So yeah, I had to double check that one though. So I don't think there's another place to put that. So what it then comes down to is assuming we've got this guy in the right place, going into method B, and because of the same core, same division, well, and same core, we can just put him in here too, which is kind of nasty for us, because this is now surrounded, this guy, this guy's surrounded now, and you know, I had hopes that even if we couldn't take this guy out, I could maybe get across the river and into Elbrook for a couple of victory points. So not only that, this now threatens Wilts, and our main road really to trace the supply for all the units west, you know, if these guys start coming up here. So I'm going to have to do something about that, hopefully probably try and get a unit into Wilts again just to shore things up. Anyway, that's what I'm seeing. Like I say, I'd like Martin to maybe confirm that, because like I say, he just maybe missed that hex, but he was saying that he thinks they'd probably go in there with method B. But I'll carry on for now, and hopefully we'll not have to rewind again. Okay, so just double checked between me wrongly deploying these units and now hopefully rightly deploying them. Between then and me then moving the units, if anything was affected, and I can't see anything that was affected by them. We moved the 58 core units, and then we had a move up north with the 2nd SS Corps, and then we drew this card, and obviously there was nothing to deploy, there was nothing to expedite, and we came to the conclusion that we could activate the units. So I'm just checking that is still the case. These guys can get a IP marker, and so can this guy up here get an IP marker. So I would have drawn 3 cards again, but different things are going to happen. So I'll get the 3 cards out and we'll have a look. And I apologise for that, but I do want to keep it straight. I want the playthrough to be proper and by the book. I know there was a couple of roadblocks on this early doors. I couldn't really go back and fix. I don't mind that so much, but this really disrupts the game and spoils it for me. So we'll get the 3 cards back out and we'll look what the units might do. So there's the cards we had drawn. Fill the gap, strengthen, and open supply line. So you can look at it properly this time. So I'll have a wee glance at Fill the Gap. Well, I actually thought I wasn't going to get a chance to put a unit in Wilts because I thought one of these was going to actually fill the gap across to it, but so it is proximate to this position, 1, 2, breaking away for zone of control, and 3 into there. And this guy's 1, 2, 3 proximate to it. So I thought, he's going to go in there. So because there's only 1 unit moving out, we don't need to worry about preserving the line, or there's no VP hex anyway. I thought, well, I might as well check for surround. It doesn't look like it, but he can be surrounded. This guy can go 1, 2, well, actually 1, 2 into there, can't he? Oh no, I needed to come right down, that was it. It was 1, 2, 3 into there. This guy can break away for 2 and 5 into there. And then this guy can come along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into there. And that's that hex surrounded. So it was doable when you look at it. So that's good. I'm glad that didn't happen. Put that guy back, yeah. So I don't think any of the 2 units, and this is the selector number 7, the next one's 5. So I don't think any of them can make a move, because the only position hexes they can move to this one, which would be adjacent to another unit. This one I've already covered. This one we're not adjacent to. We're not proximate to. So I don't think they're going to fill the gap. And actually, yeah, silly me, I'm lying about this one as well. He's not proximate to that because he'd be zone of control to zone of control. So yeah. Yeah, and getting to this hex, if we could get to it, it's 2 to move in there, and it'd be another 2 to get in there, so we can't get there. Okay, so let's hit that on the head. So quite a look at number 2 and 3 units, but I think they got looked at initially anyway. Yeah, okay, just having a look back. I had actually moved this guy to here, because when we had moved one of the infantry to, where was it? Here, I think. The one that were wrongly deployed down here. It then enabled that guy to fill that gap because it was unsurroundable. But because that guy's not there, this guy can go 1, 2, 3 and surround that guy. So that's not going to try and fill the gap either. He's not got anywhere to go. And the unit up here we looked at, he wasn't going to move either. So, okay, there's nothing to fill the gap that I can see. So let's move on to the next card. Okay, the next card was Strengthen, and I tried to explain it to you. And Martin said I missed one bit out, to which I never really read into it, although I do believe I might have came across it before. It just makes that card even more, even worse, I think, to read. So I'll try and just read it again. The situation is a unit proximate to, but not stacked with, an allied unit. That should be /stack as well, because that was a rad. With strength less than or equal to 3, or less than or equal to 3 steps if it's in a VP hex. to which German units with total strength greater than or equal to 7 are also proximate. So it's a huge mouthful, and it talks about the unit that you're moving to and the stack that you're moving to and the stack that you're moving from, all in that one bit. It's talking about them both. So it's saying, so when I said to you, I gave you, this was the wrong bit I gave you, because this unit is stacked with another unit that's got less than or equal to 3 strength. So that should say right away, right, you don't move that because it's stacked with a unit that's less than or equal to 3. But as long as there's no total strength of 7 German units proximate to there, this unit can still move and try and strengthen the other stack unit. So that's the bit I missed, and it's all there, written there, and I suppose it's written properly. I just really feel like they could have broken it down a bit. Martin did say that the space on the card to write all the text required might have been a consideration of trying to compact it. Fair enough. Maybe it should have been brought out more in the rule book then and broken down a bit better. Anyway, I'll not go any further than now. We might come across the situation where we can go into a bit more detail. So let me have a look. I don't think anything's strengthening anything, to be honest. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. This isn't proximate to anything that it can go and strengthen. And likewise the unit underneath. And then over here, none of the armoured units are proximate to any unit they can strengthen, even if they did want to move. They've got to also watch for preserving the line, etc. So I don't see strengthening happening. Strengthen happening. Yeah, so last card was open supply line, and I guess they would like to be able to try and do this because the unit's not proximate, but this guy can't trace supply. So the idea of open supply line is to let this guy be able to move. For instance, if that unit was there, we could move it into there, and then this guy could then trace supply. So that's the idea of it. But none of these units can. This is in a zone of control to start with, and then crossing the river, it can't get into this hex to help him out, even though it would probably like to. So, and there's no other issues with supply. These guys are okay themselves as well. So, I don't see that happening either. So it does look like that we're just dropping down to some IPs getting placed. So IP will get placed on that hex, and the one that we put on originally, that guy's in a town. So yeah. Just 3 IPs. So I'm going to look over the rest of the video just in case there was something, but I looked already and I didn't think that this fix would have an effect on anything else. There's no knock-on effects basically. So, but I'll have a look and get back to you before we eventually get started with the 20th. Okay, I had another wee look at what happened after that regarding if there was anything that would have had a knock-on effect, but there was nothing more. Nothing more happened. I think that was the last. It was the last German last impulse of the day. So I think we're now up to date. Again, sorry for all that. It's a tricky game. Anyway, okay, so let's get on to the 20th then. And I've done the end of day stuff. I shuffled up the chits, put them back in the cup. There's no disperse markers. We've advanced the day marker. So now reserve phase. I put the reserves down into the box. There you go. And the allies get this new core, 7th corps. You get 3 armour units and a cavalry. And they get deployed from this line north, so slightly more than the 5th Corps units. And us ourselves, we get an infantry unit from the 58th, and we get this new unit as well, Führer Grenadiers, I think it is, from 53rd Corps, as the new corps, for that. So we get the 2 units. There's nothing else in the reserve units box that's been there for 2 days basically, so there's nothing we can bring out for that. So then the card prep phase, I've shuffled up all the cards. We get this division card for this unit, so we might see that card depending on if we draw it, if it, because it's a supplemental card, so we might not see it today. And that's the only new card we get. So I've shuffled everything back up, and we get it now jumps up to 8 supplemental cards. So we've got 1 extra supplemental card in the draw pile, and I think there's 8 primary cards, so I think there's 16 cards in our deck. Ally command level still 3. That's it. So I've shuffled everything up. I've not drawn my 6 cards yet. I'll do that and then give you a look. Yeah, I did want to show you the cards and I kind of forgot, and I've shuffled them all up. Now there's 4 allied cards on the 20th, 1 primary and 3 supplemental. It's basically 3 of the cards are for this corps, 7 corps, and the other card they get is their army group card, 21st Army group card. So that's a really strong card, so we might see that pop up. And finally there was two more defensive cards shuffled in, so now we've got 4 of the offensive cards shuffled in, so we might see them getting a bit more aggressive and maybe making an attack on us in this day, and yeah, it might happen. So that's the reserve phase done, the card prep phase. Yep. So on to the supply phase. I'll just bash on here. Allied Air introduction doesn't start until the 21st, which if I remember is a bit of a pain as well, so not looking forward to that one. We may play a Bridge Engineers card. Well, actually, yeah, I need 6 cards first. So I'll draw my hand and I'll let you all look. Okay, there's my hand, but it does remind me that we need to give you, there's quite a few new rules, there's quite big changes on the 20th. First of all, we can relax. No more German boundaries. We don't need to worry about them. We don't need to be concerned if any are proximate to going over a boundary or whatever. If only that had happened on the 19th, we wouldn't have had all that carry on. But however, so we don't need to worry about German boundaries anymore. The units still need to be deployed within their boundaries, but apart from that, they can move wherever they want. The other thing that happens is, actually I'll skip that one. Replacements. We can now get replacements to our units. See this card here, for instance, assign 1 RP to Corps. That's between the 20th and the 29th. So we can look at that 85th Corps and possibly flip it back up from 1 step back up to 2 steps or whatever. So that applies, but the Allies get that too. They get it a bit better than us as well. They benefit from more, whereas our 3 cards there are showing 1s. They're probably getting 2s, and I think they sometimes get 3s. We get them, I think we get up to 2 maybe, but anyway, there's that. And then the last one is German fuel checks. So what happens when you draw a card at any time, and initially when you draw your hand, these division cards have no fuel and they list dates on them. So if we are on that date and it says no fuel, then that division or that unit would be marked with no fuel marker. I mean, it means they can't move. I don't think they can attack. It's really bad. When it happens, we'll have a better look at it. But you can see the first date, that there's 22nd's the closest date, so we're still a couple of days away for that. But these being supplemental cards as well, sometimes you get lucky and you don't see them that day, and you go through it and then you see them the next day, and it's not the right date. So it can be, yeah, sometimes you get lucky with them, sometimes not. Two other things actually. It's not marked on the calendar, this. I think a few other people have commented that the other thing that you don't need to do, which is great as well, you only need to check roadblocks now for victory point hexes. So any of the other position hexes, no matter what they are, as long as they've not got a VP, then you don't need to do a roadblock check. So that's great as well. So that on top of the boundaries, it's much more relaxed now. You feel like you're not missing either of them. Which, if you look through the game, I missed 2 roadblock checks earlier on, and twice now I think I've tried to go over a boundary, and that last one was caused chaos. But however, last thing is, at the end of this day, this is when we start looking at victory conditions. And if we've got less than 11 victory points, it's a strategic loss. And if you get greater than 40 victory points, it's a strategic win. So you check them at the end of the day and see where you're at. And if you get in between the two figures, you just carry on to the next day. So as long as we get 11, you carry on to the next day. And we're sitting at 24 victory points. So not too bad. Well, 24 and a half. There's one unit in the limited units box. So not too bad. Can't see us getting to 40 by the end of today. That's only greater than 40, isn't it? So it'd be 41, I think. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But okay, I think I've explained all the rules there. Yeah, the bit I mentioned about roadblock checks only in victory point hexes. I don't know if I said it's not on the calendar. That I think it probably should have been on the calendar. I've seen other playthroughs where the guys have missed it and still carrying out roadblock checks, because it is in the rulebook. It tells it. In fact, I think it's in the player aid as well. It's just it would have been nice to have seen that in the calendar, I think. But however, okay, so now we can move into the supply phase. Like I say, I was up to see if I'd had any bridge engineer cards, which I don't have the option anyway. Okay, so now we're going to check our units for supply. We start with the Germans, so I'll have a look, see if there's anything in trouble. Okay, so German supply check. We're all good up here. There's nothing an issue here, nothing here. Even with this broken bridge, these units can go into here, that's fine. This unit can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's fine as well. That stack anyway. That might be the only one that this is okay. All okay there. Just look down the bottom. This was an interesting part because with my blunder before, I know some of you might have noticed, I just noticed at the end of the day that I think one of these units that I'd wrongly placed had moved to here, I think it was. So you had zone of control in this hex, and we didn't have a unit in this hex, and this is our supply, tracing all these 3 stacks and this one across this bridge. And if that unit had been there, with the zone of control there, we wouldn't have been able to trace supply for these units. This other bridge is broken. Because I remember looking at the time thinking, I might be looking for a bridge engineer's cart, and there you go, I never drew one, did I? So that's a fortunate part of what went wrong, I think. Because all these guys are good, we can come across this bridge and then the main supply route. just moving along. I know we were concerned about this bit. These units didn't move into Wilt, so it would have still been okay. But we're going to have to watch this and this road, because this is our main supply route. I mean, at the moment we can go up here. Sorry, you'll not be able to see, but that's a bit risky into here, and then, you know, I wouldn't like to rely on that one. So yeah, I need to keep an eye on that. So then further down the south here, well, this guy got put into, this was one of the downsides, I suppose, to, where are we? Supply marker. To the mistakes that was made and then rectified. Put in these guys here surrounded this guy. Oh no, yeah, he's okay though, isn't he? Forgot. I remember looking thinking, he's okay. Because you can still trace supply into here, the friendly unit there, and he's good. Yeah, so that is okay. So yeah, the one we do have still is this guy. We never moved on. Well, I talked about it before. There's no bridge there. So unfortunately for him, he's moving from low supply now to out of supply. So we'll need to try and do something about that. And out of supply brings along, same as low supply. Low supply, no combat tactic can be played in the unit support. May not receive replacements though, which starts today. Out of supply, if it's mechanised, it may move only one hex. Well, that's just an infantry unit. May not build an IP, but it may not attack either. So, and if it's a defender in the attack, attackers may draw one extra combat chit and may disregard one attacker hit. So, I'm thinking maybe if we activate them, I can just move him across, maybe, and try and get to supply. Maybe we could also build this bridge. Repair this bridge, you know. So we'll just have a look at the allied units for supply. I can't see nothing there that's in any danger. We're all holding that line right down pretty well. So further on here, yeah, so nothing there in any danger. And then as we come across, this is the only one that they have an issue with. If you recall me talking about that open supply line where the unit was hoping to come around and enable that guy to trace supply, but not being able to do so, he's surrounded, so he is in low supply. And that is that. Yep, everything else is all good. So, and the last part of the supply phase, actually not the last part, the second last part is remove any roadblock markers not in both German and Allied communication. Well, we've got one roadblock up here, but it's in both German and Allied communication, so that will stay there. And then finally, because we're on the 20th, out of fuel, check your hand for. Yeah, so sorry, the last part was out of fuel. So you check your hand for any cards indicating German formations that are out of fuel on this day. But there's none. I showed you the two cards we had, and it wasn't applicable to the 20th. And if you do come across one of them, that's what the fuel depot markers are for. Now we've got two of them. One was a yes and one was a no. So we do have that one. There's another 3 markers you can see still out on the board. The likelihood of getting any. Well, actually, yeah, we've got the second SS up there beside the roadblock, so maybe. Anyway, you can use one of them as a one-off kind of use to prevent the from going off. So that's handy to have. So we've got one. Okay, so that's the supply phase over, and then we move into next German impulse. So my hand doesn't look very good at all, to be honest, but we'll see what we can do with it. So I'll have a look and get back shortly. Okay, first German impulse. I think I'm going to play card 65. This was a new card we got for the day. And it's going to let us deploy this unit. Yeah, so thinking I'm going to put him here. So he's on a supply road. He's at least 3 away from an allied unit. He's within 3 hexes of a unit in the same army, because we don't have any of that core, let alone division. Well, I think he's just a single unit. So I might be wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's same as that other guy from the 47th. I think he's just on his own. Anyway, there's no other any other core units, so we've got to go for the army. So that's 3 away, within 3 of that. So yeah, I think I'm going to place that there. That's only 1 point. Command value is still 3, so gets to play something else. Okay, going to stay down this end regarding the 7th Army and play 85th Corps card to activate all the units. And yeah, I'm going to have a go at this guy again. We had a bash at him before, didn't we? But I think I'm going to bring this unit in as well. I know it's going to open up a wee space here, but I think I was worried about that before, but I don't think this unit will ever cross into a west wall hex. I mean, I've got to watch, because I lose 5 victory points if he was to. But from the likes of these hexes, I know it's just maybe just off camera actually, he can't, I don't think he can't trace supply, because he's coming across the river and there's no roads. There's not even a road into that town. It stops here. So anyway, yeah, I'll have a look. Yeah, I think I'm going to give this a try. Let's see. Cards in my hand weren't great, so I'm going to move this guy. He's going to lose his IP. He's got to go break out his zone of control first so that's 2 into there, in the clear hex, and 1 back into there. He's going to be coming across the river obviously, so his strength's going to be half, but it does, I'm pretty sure it worked out, the odds will go up from 3 to 1 to 4 to 1. And he brings a couple of chip pools. The downside is the green unit side of him. Does he stay green if he's flipped? Yeah, he does that one. Okay, I think part of the reason I'm doing this as well, he's not going to get to draw a card, so no combat tactics or undetected defenders to worry about. And yeah, okay, so I'll just show you what we've got. We've got 3, 6, 8, 11. So that's 11 full strength, and then this is halved, so another 2, so it's 13 to 3. He's in a town right enough, so watch that one. So 13 to 3 is 4 to 1. I'll just check chip pools. Well, there's 3 there, 4, so that's 4, and then 2 more for that is 6. I do think I might play, I've got a fixed artillery card, and the range I think is 4 or something, isn't it? On the 20th, yeah, that's 4, so we're close enough. That's a west wall hex here, in fact. Just let me think if I'm going to do that. Okay, I think I'm going to play it. Looking up there, it's for the, what is it, 67 Corps, the red guys up the top. But they got that armour mechanised unit the last turn, so they're a wee bit more worthy of what they were before. I think I'm still going to go for this. I think this is a chance to do something. I mean, I know we've got these 2 units we're putting there, and pretty nasty spot, but yeah, let's go for it. So I'm playing fixed artillery, and the good thing about that is they're not drawing a card, so there's no chance of artillery, so all the artillery will be mine, and we get an extra chip pool, so we're up to 7. So minimum of 2. Let's say he gets no card pool, so draw the 2, see how we go on. Okay, great start. 2-1 and a 3-1, both D1 results. But it leaves me in a place where I think, how many more do I need to draw, because he's in a town, so one of them's coming off. So we really need, actually, well, I think we only need 3 hits, because he's going to lose 1 when he moves. Oh, we need 4, don't we? Yeah, we still need 4 to eliminate him. Yeah, I'm going to go at the 7. Okay. There we go. Oh dear. Yeah, didn't go well. 2 defender weights, and then this one was a 9-1, this one was an 8-1. Fortunately, that didn't happen. And then we go with no elites, but we're attacking by green units, so we've got an A1 on us. That's a shame. No artillery. Ah dear. Okay, so it's a D2 and 1 to us. Right, so first hit is in a town, so that soaks up 1 of them. And oops, second hit. He's still going to exert zone of control if he flips there, so I think it's a hold chance, isn't it? Yeah, so he's going to conduct a hold chance, and this is one of the ones we want him to retreat, because he takes a step loss when he retreats as well, because he's in zone of control. So, however, the hold value is 3, number of steps is 2, so that's 5. If all attackers are across the river, well, no, not all of them were. If defending units surrounded or out of communication, well, yeah, that both applies. So what they say, we're at 5, we're now down to 2. But then the next one is, if all retreat routes would require extra step loss, that applies, so that takes up to 6, and he's not retreated. So the whole chance is 6. Yeah, so we're looking for a 7 or higher. Oh yeah, we got a result. So that's a 9, so he's going to retreat 1x. So that's good. So both of them are in zone of control. And the withdrawal arrow's that way. So he retreats into this hex. And because he's retreating into a German zone of control, he takes a step loss. That was something at least. Yeah, so just need to work out what we're going to take a hit on. Yeah, seems like this is probably the best one to take a hit. You still got 3 steps. Unfortunately, unlike a couple of the other guys, he stays green. So, advance after combat. Okay, I'm going to advance with this guy. I feel like getting him across the river's a good idea. I suppose I'm taking risks here now, though. Leaving this unit to kind of go across there if it wants. Like I say, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe there's cards that will do that. Maybe some of the aggressive ones say advance into a Westwall Hex if you can. It's quite possible. I can't remember how they all are. So these all had an activation. So yeah, I think just that unit. Give me a sec. Actually, I think I'll advance one of the other infantry units in as well. That's 5 steps, so I can't put another one in. Okay. Well, not a terrible result in the end. Getting them to retreat was good, but I think I expected better from what I had. Okay, now spent 5 command points, so the allies are going to get a shot next. I'll clear things up and we'll get an allied impulse going. Okay, there's my 3 new cards. 1, 2, 3. Better hand now. Okay, so hopefully we can make the most of some of that. Okay, first Allied Impulse of the day. 8 core card. There's no reserve units in the 8 core. You'll notice there. In fact, well, that is applicable. This is the next, because we're on the 20th now, but you see how many they get? Look, 3. Get to assign 3 replacement points. So that is the next possibility. Now we just removed a step. You can see that on camera? Yeah, just looking at this guy. We just knocked a step off this guy. But they need to be able to assign 3. Pretty sure that's right. No, sorry, my bad. And then Allied Impulse, if the command card drawn triggers a replacement command, check the on-map units in the core. If the core has at least 2 reduced units in play, the core receives replacements. Well, we've only got the 1. Sorry, I'll pan the camera there just to confirm. These guys are okay. This guy's reduced, and then the only other guy we've got is up in the middle there, and he's okay as well. Don't believe there's anybody else. No. Okay, so skip that activation. So now we're going to try and activate all the units in the core. So my favourite. Can it take an IP? Yes. Oh wait. Stop. Oh god. Did I not tell you this before that, Neil? I need to always check. Right back at the first, deploy all core reserves. We also need to check if there's any out of contact units that could be redeployed. It's probably unlikely, but so the first one is it's in Allied communication. No German unit is proximate to it. Proximate, yeah, and he's adjacent. So that's none of them are out of contact. And the second part was if it's got if the stack contains at least 5 steps or 8 strength points. Well, they're all single units, so okay, we can carry on. But I do need to remember that one because I tend to forget about that one. So we're going to activate the units, and like I say, this guy can take an IP, so that's good enough for 3 cards to be drawn. And we'll see what we get. Maybe get some aggression, although maybe not the core to be doing that, but you never know. Okay, just give you a glance at the 3 cards. We do actually have one of the offensive cards. Maybe not happen, but anyway, that's the order of the cards, and we'll get to look at that one first. Okay, this could actually get interesting, I think. Pan a little bit that way. So, combined arms attack, it says the situation is, and first of all, it goes from 1 to 19, so we're looking at the lowest selector number. So the first one's this armour unit. So strength of unit stack and other active units greater than or equal to 2 times proximate German unit stack. And then it has in brackets 10.61, which is, so it's a situational strength check. So it's not just their base strength. And this is just to check if they'll do it. This guy here, because we've moved away from here, the movement in this hex before was 4 because we had to break zone of control, but now it's only 3. So this guy can actually go 3, 4, 5, so you can get down to this out of supply unit. You can also come adjacent to this unit, I suppose. So we've got to work out, I think we're still preserving the line with this one. It's preserve the line, protect VP hex. So that's only two conditions it cares about. Protect VP hex, but it doesn't matter. But preserving the line, I think moving this guy out is probably not going to change anything because this line is as it is. So moving this guy, I'm pretty sure nothing changes there. I'm saying that this guy's not exerting zone of control, is he? But I don't think that changes, or does it? Oh, here we go again. Because I'm thinking if this guy had zone of control here, there's no gap here, so I'm moving this, but this unit can go, it can come around here anyway. It's irrelevant if this guy moves or not. Yeah, and moving this guy isn't changing things here. I don't believe it's not changing the distance of this. So yeah, I think that's right. Let's look further into the actual move then. Okay, so I had a look at calculating situational strength. These units are out of the equation because there's actually a bit of a river here, and he can only come in there and he'd be attacking across the river. They're not going to have greater than 2 times, even if these 3 units were involved. This one, however, is a strength of 2. It's in a town, so it gets +1 for that. This is just checking its situational strength. It doesn't, when it comes down to the battle, this doesn't count if there's a battle. So that puts it up to 3, but he's in a clear hex, which is a -1, taking it down to 2, and he's also out of supply, taking it down to 1. I'm pretty sure they all apply. Yeah. Yeah, so that takes it down to 1. So his situational strength is 1. Now he does want to try and go for the one that's the most that qualifies, but none of them come into it. So that is the target that he wants to go for. And the thing is, he can come down and attack it, he could come across and attack it, and he can attack it. So if we can do that and get a strength of greater than or equal to 2, I mean he's on 1, so this guy alone covers it. That's 3 against 1. That's 3 to 1, going by situational strength. So it's more likely this is going to happen. Now, whether this guy is going to join in, because I think he's then making a bit more of a gap. So he might not be able to join, but this guy might. So let's have a look. Yeah, I'm back to the I'm back to the preserve the line issue again. This is never going to go away from me, I don't think. The only hex adjacent to this unit this guy can get to is this one. Because it's got to go 3 into the woods and it can't go another 3 into there, so it's 3, 4, 5 into there. If he was to do that, that's the hex he was in. Let's just look at this unit here. At the moment, if this was trying to trace a line of communication going west, I mean, okay, it can do it another way, probably. Yeah, up and in and round. But, so, at the moment, it goes, well, actually, I've just said this guy's not got zone of control, is he? So it can just come around here. But I suppose you could say that the gap there is one. Well, there's only one hex of a gap. That's it. There's 1 hex of a gap here if that unit stays there. if I then move him down here, there's then one. No, there's still only one hex. Yeah, because of this guy. Okay, maybe we're okay. That's right, innit? That's right, Martin, innit? Come on, tell me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, I'm feeling good about that one. The way I look at that. Yeah, it's not made the gap any bigger. So, okay, so this unit's going to move 3 into here, 4 into here, 5 into here. Now, it is the case that this unit then can't join in, although even it says, well, the action is, I'll read the action. All active units proximate to the strongest qualifying German unit stack, which we decided this was the strongest qualifying, even though it's only one, they weren't qualifying. Even though they were stronger, I couldn't get more than 2 to 1, even 2 to 1, you know. All active units proximate to strongest qualifying German unit stack move to target and attack. Other proximate units in the same core reinforce. Well, all the units in the core are trying to activate anyway, so that's only if it happened to be maybe a division that was attacking, then you could use guys from the other core. And then all out of contact units in the same core redeploy to attack. Well, we decided none of the units were out of contact when we were looking at possibility of redeploying them in the first place. So, and then it gives you a couple of instructions regarding what happens with the attack. But so all active units proximate to strongest core move to target and attack, and then other proximate units same core reinforce. Okay, so that's the moved here. The next one, I suppose we'll go in. He can't reach. So can we move him in? Well, I think the answer's probably no, because then that is going to, at the moment, like we've said, there's only one hex of a gap. That moves to there, there's then 2 hexes of a gap. Yeah. So that's definitely making the gap bigger. If he was to go here, it's still the same. It's still extending it. And yeah, and that's even worse. So it is going to extend it by him moving. However, this unit can sit where he is and attack. So that turns out we've got 5 to 1 situational, which is obviously, well, we decided it was going to happen anyway, based on that guy alone. So yeah, I think we've got our first allied combat here. So just have a look and make sure I'm doing things right, and we'll see what's what. Yeah, okay, I'm convinced this is going to happen. So the last part of the action there is, it says, if greater than or equal to 5 steps. Okay, sorry, I got distracted again. So, yeah, the last part of it says, if greater than or equal to 5 steps are attacking, break off at A2, otherwise A1. But there's only 4 steps attacking, so we're going to break off at A1. What that means is, what it means is if it happens to get to A2, he draws combat chits, and we get to A2, he'll just stop drawing. It's a different procedure from the way we have to do it. So he's not got greater than or equal to 5 steps, so he's going to break off at A1. So if he gets an A1 result, he'll stop right then. So that's kind of what we want, but getting an A1 result could be tricky. Okay, so we'll go through the procedure here, because we've not done this before. So first step is move the units in proximate to the attacking unit that you're going to attack. Second step, we draw a command card for them as for a combat tactic. and they get oh dear. Okay. Well, it's the first army card they've drawn. So they're getting artillery and air power. Wow, they're gonna have a lot in this battle. So okay, artillery and air power, and then hang on a sec. Yeah, so yeah, they draw that card. They get artillery and air power, but you also notice on this card it says if there's a combat, they get tank battalion as well. So they're going to get all three of them. Well, we know what artillery and air power is. It's just if you draw the chits. Tank battalion increases their strength by 1, doesn't it? And well, they've got armour in the attack anyway. So add one to allied combat strength, fills the requirement for armour. So that's them now got 6 to our. Now remember, it's not 1 now we're counting the full strength of the unit. So the unit is 2. So it's 6 to 2. So that's only 3 to 1. So, you know. So 3 to 1. We've drawn a card. Now, we may play 1 combat tactic if we wanted to. Unfortunately, this guy's out of supply. And the low supply conditions, which are also applicable to being out of supply, say that you can't play a combat tactic for that unit. So we can't do that even if we wanted to. So now we're going to start drawing some combat chits. And he's the same. He's got 2 units, so 2 chits. 1 for elite is 3. Now he's played 3 combat tactics as well, so that's 6. So he's getting 6 chit pools at 3 to 1. That's my thinking of things. I'll just double check. Okay, so that's right, I think. So it's a maximum of 6 chit pools, minimum of 2. So what we do now is we get the 2 first. So we'll get the 2 and we'll have a look. Well, what do you know? We got lucky. This chit applies, this doesn't. It was 7 to 1, it was flank attack on the other side, but we're in a town anyway. But yeah, it's less than 1 to 1 in the back. That is greater than or equal to 1.5 to 1, which it is. So remember, we are now the defender rather than the attacker, right? So it's 1 hit each at the moment. And because they've got less than 5 steps, they're going to break off at A1. So they're going to stop there and not draw any more chits. Now, if that I was hoping to show you, but in all honesty, I'm happy with the results. So, if that A1 wasn't there, they then start drawing chits 1 at a time until they either destroy our unit or they get to the break-off condition, which is A1, which we're going to do now. We're just going to break off now. So it's slightly different. They get to do it in a more civilised way, if you like. Okay, so I think that's good for us. Well, it is good because... Oh, hang on a sec, I forgot something. Oh no, I forgot something that's going to affect it as well. Damn it. Our unit's out of supply. I looked at this earlier too and just forgot. So I don't know if you recall me talking about the downside to being out of supply. The very bottom part is out of supply only. If defender, the attackers may draw 1 extra combat chit and may disregard 1 attacker hit. So I think we are moving on. Oh, I thought I'd got away with this. So in actual fact, this should be up to 7 because they get to draw 1 extra because we're out of supply. And this A1 doesn't apply. I thought it was golden because we're in a town as well, and this D1 would just be soaked up with the town. The allies take a hit, combat's ends. Oh well. Right, so now we draw 1 chit at a time until either I think it's either until we're eliminated or they draw an A1 result. Yeah, so they can draw up to 7 chits now, and they will break off if they get enough hits to eliminate us, or if they get an A1 result. That's where we're at. So I'll draw them one at a time. Okay, guys, I kid you not, I'm not cheating, honestly. This is the first chit we've drawn above the 2 minimum, and this time it is an A1. It's a town. We're in a town. So just shows you on the other side that be cursing at this if I was attacking a town myself, but there you go. So yeah, they stop there. They're now at an A1 result because they're ignoring one of these, obviously. So they're going to stop there and break off. So the result is 1 hit to them and nothing to us. So we'll just see what the difference is. Taking hits, it's probably the same. Yeah, well, it's not quite the same. There is a routine sequence you go through. First hit, second hit, third hit, fourth hit. But the first hit incurred by allied units attacking in combat is assigned as a step loss, and then so applying step losses for them, they would pick the highest. I know this is elite, but I'm pretty sure they still pick that guy. Yeah, they're still going to pick this guy over the armour because of the selector number. So they pick the highest selector number. It would depend on if there was more units in the stack. I think they pick that first. So that guy takes a hit, which satisfies that, and that's it. So that was good. It worked out all right in the end. So none of the other 3. Well, this one doesn't count because he's outside the. This only goes 1 to 19. This unit's 35, so no that he would be able to get two times strength. We've already seen this guy couldn't move, and this guy up here, yeah, he's not got enough strength to be able to be doing that as well. So we've still got the 3 units to try and activate those. So that's that card done. Oh, we're back to our good old strength then. Okay, pretty sure that's not happening, but just looking here, possibly. Hang on. Okay, it's quite an interesting one. So looking at this unit, this is the only real option. This unit strengthening this unit, and both units qualify. This isn't stacked to another unit with strength less than 3. This has got strength less than 3. There's at least 7 strength proximate German units to that. So, and this can move to that. So here's the thing here. So at the moment, we've still got to preserve the line. This is what we're looking at. So at the moment, we looked at this gap already, and because he's not got his zone of control, there's a 1 hex gap through here, because this will zone of control. So, and the gap is this hex here, right? So if this unit moves from there to there, the gap, there's a zone of control in this hex now, and there's a zone of control in this hex. The gap is moved from here to here, but it still stayed at 1 hex. So, how about that one then? That one's got to be okay, isn't it? It's not creating a new gap, and it's not extending the gap, it's just moving the gap by a hex. So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking this could happen, and it makes sense. This unit's in a weak position, it's going to get strengthened. It's not in danger of surround either, I don't think. No, it won't be. Yeah, I might have an wee look just before just in case. And what it also says is the unit stack moved to is now considered to perform their action as well. So that guy he's as if he's taken an action too. Yeah, okay. I think I'm good with that. So just got that last one unit up here, 101st. It can't strengthen, so I wouldn't have thought so. No, there's nothing there. So the last card is pull back. But it's not out of communication or in dangerous round, so yeah, so it's not going to do that. But what do you know? It's eligible for an IP, so that's what it's going to do. So that's all the units activated. Done something, so it was quite interesting. It was some new stuff we've seen there. I think it was performed okay, but there was talks of gaps, and so I'm never totally convinced. Anyway, we'll go with that, and unless I realise otherwise in the next short while. So that'll be the Allied Impulse over. We'll get back to a German Impulse shortly.